Warm greetings from the High 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans on this Sunday, February 9th, 2020. We would like to bring you an update pertaining to Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. This is an article pertaining to one of his lady friends that was residing with him, Miss Azriel Clary, and the story is by Revolt if you need verification for the storyline. Azriel Clary calls out R. Kelly for trying to silence her. R. Kelly's ex took to Twitter to get a few things off her chest. R. Kelly's ex-girlfriend Azriel Clary has called the singer out for attempting to silence her in the past. This really runs deeper than a lot of you think, she wrote on Twitter. I should not have to be honest to the world for them to know the truth, she added. Be a man for once in your life. You have fans fighting for you that you owe an apology to. You have family, friends, and more importantly, every woman that you've been with that you need to apologize to. Clary also implied that she might have evidence against Kelly, writing, "What if I had a video of Robert coercing me on what to say and exactly how to say it? I wonder if the hate would stop then. #WhatIf." The 23-year-old later spoke for women who have decided to come forward about their abuse. Either you want all the truth or you don't. But don't be mad at women when they finally come forward speaking on abuse. When it is ever okay for a woman to be beaten to the point that markings are left behind. Love is a powerful thing, but once you know better, you do better, she said. It was previously reported that Clary was allegedly working with authorities against Kelly. According to TMZ, she reportedly provided information about her experiences with the singer to the feds, who are working on his federal sex crimes case in New York. Okay. Clary detailed her abuse in an interview with The Sun as well, revealing that Kelly would assault her with a shoe for talking to her high school friends. Kelly's attorney, Stephen Greenberg, told TMZ he isn't surprised by reports claiming that Clary is working with authorities. He says, "It's not news to me. I've suspected it all along, but you can get it in the way of love, but you can't get in the way of love, Rob's love for her." Okay. And that is the latest story brought to you by Revolt. I have a few things on my mind. Another source, another story, I can't remember the source that I just read, but it just reported that Robert's case, his racketeering, child abuse, sexual assault case that's stemming out of New York, will be postponed to July because they didn't want that case in New York to conflict with the upcoming case that will be happening in the spring in Chicago. So, update to those of you who care to know the news or don't care. His racketeering case, sexual abuse case out of New York has been postponed to July of this year due to the fact he already has a case coming up to go to trial in Chicago, and they didn't want a conflict. My thing is, actually, will it even matter? Because each case was a month before the other. Chicago first, and I think New York was second at the time. He also is allegedly having a case out of Detroit and Minnesota. So my thing is, hell, we already know he can't be in two places at once. Run them all together and be done with it. Because it's just going to go on, and you would think a person who's facing this type of scrutiny, accusations, woo, would say to themselves, this doesn't look good for me. I'm having to go here, there, all over the place. I can't be in all these places to attend trial naturally. Are these people going to fly me there, or am I going to do it by video cam? What? He should want to end this saga, this mess that he got himself in. I'm a little hyped today because I'm sick of the storylines pertaining to him. I bring you the information because it is news to some. Some don't care. It doesn't really matter. The point is, a person should care enough about themselves to say, I've got myself in a pickle and it doesn't look good and I don't see these problems going away. More people are talking. Ooh, the one I trusted the most is now chirping like a bird. I need to do my business. Ask them to run them all together, get my said time, lay on down, take it like a man, be done with it. Now you see Miss Clary is still talking, twittering, but what I'm curious to know is, when did she get with the feds to give the said information about Mr. Robert Kelly. When did she decide to fold? Was it 1 month, 2 months after Mr. Kelly was incarcerated last winter? You know what I'm saying? I'm very curious to know. And for those of you who think that these young ladies, had this wonderful, exuberant life with Mr. Kelly, well, I think you should know by now the life wasn't all that great, as I stated in the previous video I made. What life could they have had? They only started talking when he went to jail. They weren't seen. They weren't running around for everybody to hear and see them on social media, prancing and dancing and talking and, pics and pictures. I think you all know that, and you all need to stop this BS. Whether you like him or not, whether you don't like the ladies he's dated, messed with, slept with, kept in the basement, whatever, locked in the closet. The point is, the charade is over. Too many women are talking and spinning the same web. Women from different avenues, walks of life, grown, some were underage, all spinning the same web. And now the last two Mohicans who were with Mr. Kelly are no longer at Trump Tower. The band has played. It's old. It's redundant. Now one of the main line is talking. Spinning webs, spinning versions of what happened with him, allegedly. Still similar to all the other stories we have heard. And I don't think you all need to keep talking about this life you all claim that these ladies had with him. As I stated, a couple of boob jobs, some hair weave, some clothes to be seen in going in public. That means nothing to me. I don't know why you all are fascinated with that, because a lot of people are walking around G'd up, Gucci'd up, and they ain't hitting on nothing, ain't got nothing. And that's another point. These ladies don't have anything to show from being with Mr. Kelly, but scrutinized, talked about, criticized, no relationship with their parent, which they chose that. I can't put all that on Mr. Kelly. Yes, he coerced them and talked the game, but they went along with it. These ladies at some point could have said, I'm sick of this life. I don't want this life. And let me go talk to my mama, my daddy, my sister, my cousin, somebody. Let me call these people and say, hey, how you doing? Hello, happy birthday, something. But they didn't. Can't go back in time. That was their choice. And they're not the only two who rode the ride and did this type of behavior. A lot of other ladies, young girls, did the same. Just like Jocelyn and Miss Azriel. But this lifestyle that you all are claiming that they had that was so great and it's all was for the money, they don't have anything. What do they have? I'm just amazed that you all think this, that they had this great life. What life could they have had? What great life could you have sharing a man, staying in a room where you can only come out when someone tells you can come out? Someone comes to you to say, Mr. Kelly will see you now. You got to knock before entering a room. This is a great life you all think they had? Seriously, what great life did they have? They have not cut a record deal. You have not heard them on anyone's album. They have not cut their own album. They have not been in TV commercials. Anything pertaining to the entertainment business. No acting roles, no singing roles, no dancing roles, no backup singing, no backup dancing. Nothing. But yet some of you think they had this great life. It was all for the money. Oh, because he was famous. Well, a lot of women would have done it because a lot of women did do it. So I can't judge them on that. That they went along for the ride and met him and he whispered sweet nothings in their ear and they fell for it. Yes, a lot of women would. But once you got in and saw who Robert Kelly is, that's when you should have folded and left him alone. But as I state, women make mistakes. Fooling with men every day. The only difference is they are not Robert Kelly. They are not famous. They do not allegedly have a pocket full of money. And as we see, he ain't really hitting in the money department because he couldn't even post his bond last winter. He didn't even want to pay child support that was ordered by the court. He didn't even pay the full amount that was ordered by the court. And if he cared for his children, he would have paid child support. No one should have to order a man to pay child support. Now, flip side, he wants to have a relationship with his children. Craziness. Odd. all of a sudden. Why? Now the lawyer wants to say he has love for Miss Clary. Well, if you had love for her, she would have been the only one, and you wouldn't have had Miss Joycelyn and these other young ladies at the same time, living in the same household, you all swapping body fluids and on and on. And let me talk about that, because that was mentioned in the comments below on one of the other videos. And I think it's time that we address this facade that has been going on with Mr. Robert Kelly with these ladies. It is not to throw shade to anyone, any of the ladies who have come in sexual contact with Mr. Robert Kelly, or any women out here, period, or men. But let's keep it 100. All this swapping of partners, all these young ladies, underage and grown, who had sexual relations with Robert Kelly, have become infected with the herpes virus, disease, whichever word you like to use. 2, have admitted to contracting this disease from Robert Kelly, and yet you all and the media have played coy and sly about this issue, and I think it needs to be addressed, because rather this lady here, Miss Clary, or Miss Joycelyn, ever admit to the public that they contracted this disease or other diseases from Mr. Kelly, we need to address the fact that 2 have already spoken publicly that they did contract herpes from him. So anyone can use common sense to know that after these women have stated that they did contract this disease from him, you can use common sense that the other women who came after them obviously have it as well. I don't see Robert Kelly using condoms. Why some of these girls haven't gotten pregnant is a mystery to me. I'm sure some of them have. Some of them have became pregnant. And I won't doubt that he took care of that situation and made sure they went and got rid of those babies, because none of those ladies have children by him, or have been said to have children by him. And at some point, you are not using contraceptives, you will get pregnant. You will contract a disease. And with the worst case scenario of him giving these young ladies and women herpes, we have to also acknowledge that there's a chance that one of these ladies could have HIV. No one wants to talk about it, but I think it needs to be addressed. Everyone's dancing around the money issue. They're in it for the money. They did it for the money. Now they want attention. Possibly. But that has nothing to do with someone passing diseases along to these people, women, men as well, because it is rumored that he likes men and has partaken sexually with men. So you have to use common sense to know how diseases are spread, how HIV/AIDS is spread, and numerous people sleeping with each other with known diseases antes up your chance of getting HIV/AIDS. And I think it's time, as someone said in the comment section, when are we going to discuss that issue? These ladies need to be tested. Robert Kelly needs to be tested. And the judge needs to order all parties involved with Mr. Kelly to take a test. Disease, AIDS test. HIV, excuse me. Yes. I think any woman who's in a deposition pertaining to Mr. Kelly bringing allegations against him needs to surrender to a test. To test for diseases and HIV. And I think if this happens, it will be a firestorm, because then it will be known. The names don't have to be mentioned, but they can just say Lady A, Lady B, Lady C, Lady D, Suspect 1, all have the same diseases. And it'll be known that, hey, 9 times out of 10, Mr. Kelly is the carrier of the said disease / plural. There's no way on earth these other ladies out here do not have diseases by this man, and praying that they don't have HIV. If they have the other, they have medicines for herpes and other venereal diseases, but the HIV ain't just gonna disappear. And you continuously sleep without a condom, you will worsen your chances of catching other things that will only exacerbate that HIV status and other disease statuses if you're currently carrying a disease and not salt treatment. And I'm only saying this because I thought, you know what? Let's not dance around the subject anymore. And as I stated, it's not to throw shade to any of these ladies, but that's a subject matter that has not been brought up with all the hoopla, with all the people running amok and talking crazy. People talk about money and who did it for the money and the fame and the glory and the this. Well, I ask you now that with all the cards have fallen, the house of cards have fallen. Where is the glory in this storyline with Mr. Kelly? All his dirty secrets have come out about his life growing up, him being molested by a neighbor, sister, this and that, other women he has exacted abuse upon, engaging them in other sexual partners with other women, men as well. Where is the glory in that? You see, everybody's talking about money and money and money. Come on with all that. Call a spade, whether you like Mr. Kelly or not. I once was a Kelly fan, but one thing I don't do, I don't uphold people in their filth and their dirtiness, because what he has done is vile and it's foul, and he is rank. And he does not get a free pass in my book. I don't uphold people in filth because I like their music. I like them on TV. I like them because they played on a professional team. That don't have anything to do with you going out here doing things to people that you have no business and not taking any responsibility, not having any remorse. I don't roll like that. Of course, the world is tainted. We all flaw. We all make mistakes. But there comes a point when a person has to own his or her actions and stand account. And Mr. Kelly likes young girls under the age of 18. He fancies them. He's been doing it for years. He was doing it in Hyde Park. Those of you who are familiar with Hyde Park in Chicago, that man would hang outside the school looking for young girls. It's been proven he was seen doing it. He had an opportunity to finish school, but he chose not to. He wanted to partake in watching girls after school and lure them to his apartment, here, there, wherever. Because you see, Robert Kelly never got to be a child. He was robbed of that from people who violated him sexually. He was a timid child from what his brothers say. So he stayed in the house a lot. So he didn't engage in the normal realm of being a child. So now you take this person into into a young person going to school, and now they don't know how to act, they don't know how to talk because they stayed into themselves all the time. They've also been violated. So now they're acting out what was done to them. Now he's an adult and he has exacted the same crimes to minor children and to women. And at some point, Mr. Kelly should have sought help, but he did not. And maybe to him, he didn't feel he had a problem. But his brother let it be known in the last documentary, The Reckoning, he knew he was sinister. But yet he did not seek help. So all this rhetoric, everyone's running around acting as if Mr. Kelly is innocent, that people have been chasing him for his money, his status. Could be. People are chased every day for being famous or known for something. But usually in the end, it doesn't work out. Because it wasn't genuine in the first place. So Mr. Kelly was the adult in the situation when it came to him dealing with children. He was the culprit, the initiator, the orchestrator, and he had no business bedding little girls. And as far as the women he partook with, in relationships, sexual, whatever, the misuse of their bodies and talking crazy to them and down to them and ordering them around and locking them in rooms and not letting them roam and not letting them have access to a phone, food, restroom, on, is vile behavior, and he knew better. And the people who aided him are just as guilty and should also be brought to justice. Because you went along with this stupidness for no reason. And you can't say it was money. Because in the end, I'll say it to them too. What do you have? What did you gain? from helping him pick up, lure children to be with him sexually, standing around knowing he was ordering these women around in the house and going to get them to bring them to his room or this office or whatever. You are down for the ride as well, and you're just as filthy and foul as Mr. Robert Kelly. The truth needs to be known, and it is slowly seeping out day by day, and I expect there'll be more shenanigans by the time trial starts in Chicago and New York. And you all can ride or die with Mr. Kelly. It's your choice. But what you can't do is sugarcoat the truth, because it's going to make its way out, and it has. And frankly, anyone aiding him and thinking it's okay, his behavior, and making up all these stupid excuses about money and status, come on with all that. It's a waste of time, and I always say like minds think alike. You down with him, then you should go climb in that cell with him, if you think that's okay behavior for a man. A lot of you all need to grow up out there. Women are being abused every day. Children are being abused. Stop making excuses for people because they're famous and you like them. Because in the end, don't none of you know R. Kelly. Because R. Kelly don't even know himself. Like and share. Drop your comments below. Thanks for your time. You all have a wonderful week, and I'll be back with another video. Bye-bye.